Hi there, it's Babs here at Babs Gets Crafty, and today I'm going to be taking you through the stitch of the week, which this week is how to create a buffalo plaid effect using very simple crochet stitches and a very simple crochet technique. There is a written tutorial with designer information and stitch cast on, count repeats, stitch repeats, all that kind of stuff for designers, and if you want to try and play around for yourself. And I also have a pattern coming out this week which makes use of this pattern as well. But today I'm focusing mainly on how to carry the yarns within the colour blocks, how to change the colours, as this pattern just uses one stitch. It is just a single crochet or a double crochet depending on whether you're using American terms or UK terms. So let's get into it. You have various blocks worked which are all single crochet, and it's all about changing those colours and how do you work a single crochet as a repeat whilst carrying a colour along in between. So I've got my yarn, which is an incredible mess because I've been playing around and jumping up and down in between tutorials, and it's all very messy. So let's just start to simplify this for you. Now I've changed colour here by pulling through the stitch with the new colour that I want to use, and I'm now going to use the old colour. Will be running along behind the scenes, as it were. So we're going to pop our hook in, yarn over, pull through, and pull through the two loops to finish that stitch, and that is a single crochet. Now what I did, which you may not even have noticed, is I've already trapped that grey yarn within the pink stitch. So we pop the needle through, we pop the hook through, the yarn that we're working goes over the yarn that we're leaving, pull that through, and you'll see that that is now trapped between the two layers of the stitch, between the pink. So we've got pink in front and pink behind, with an extra layer of grey, with the extra thread of grey running through the middle. So we'll do this again. We're working through the top of the stitch and we're working a single crochet. I'll zoom in so that you can hopefully see this a little bit clearer. So we've got the yarn that we're working here, the yarn that we're not doing anything with underneath. This is simply being trapped. So you put the crochet hook through with the yarn in between, you pull over, and then you work over the top of that grey colour, which then encapsulates it within that crochet stitch. So it doesn't take too much effort. It's just about not letting it fall behind your work. If you let it fall behind, then you'll have it dragging along the back, and then you'll have quite an ugly grey line showing, whereas we want it hidden away inside the stitch, which also means that if you're working something like a pot stand, a trivet pot, a pad, then you get that extra layer of yarn in between your hot pad and your actual table. So we're now coming up to the last stitch, and this is where we're going to change from our pink to our grey. So we're going to go through and work the first hook on the pink colour, and then we're going to switch and pull through on the grey, which means that we're all set up. We've completed the first part of that stitch in pattern in pink, and we're now set up to move on to the grey. And again, we're going to catch that pink inside the grey stitch. So we make sure that we're working around the pink as we crochet through, and you can see that we now have a full grey stitch. It's all moving along in line with the pattern, and the pink is now hidden within the stitches of the grey. And that is all we're doing, is working this simple single stitch, and we're keeping the travelling yarn hidden away as we work our way through. And I'll show you that colour change one last time as we move from grey to pink. So we pull through and we stop, we switch our yarn, and then we take the second pull through in the new colour, and then just tighten that stitch back up so that it's maintaining the same sort of size as all the others that you've worked, and then we can continue on in the new colour as before quite happily. And that really is as complex as it gets. You need to have a look at the at the pattern on the blog. It gives you stitch counts, it gives you the repeats, etc. And then you'll have all the information that you need to cast on and try. But the most complicated part of this is actually this technique of capturing the yarn that you're not using. Otherwise, every time you do a colour change, you'll have tails and ends of yarn, and then weaving in becomes an absolute nightmare. And it's just, then it is no longer a fun project, then it just becomes a bit of a chore. And I don't know about you, but I don't like my crochet to be a chore. I like my crochet to be fun, a relaxing, mindless activity. And that's what this can become quite quickly once you're used to this trapping, encapsulation, carrying the yarn, or whatever you want to call it, method. And really that's all there is. The main part is making sure that you're changing your colours out, and I've written all that down very clearly in the instructions for you. One other point to make is that the lighter the colour, the more obvious it is. As you can see, the more obvious the carry through is. The darker the colour, it's almost impossible to see it. So when you pick your colours, think carefully about what colours you want for your plaid. The darker the colours, the more invisible all of those carry throughs will be. But then again, you may want the effect of lighter colours carrying through to give a sort of tempering to the main colours. All sorts of effects that you can play with, and hopefully, as you see, it's very easily double-sided. It's a very nice piece of fabric. It's a nice solid piece of fabric once you've finished working it. Hopefully that's been useful, and if you've enjoyed it, please give the video a thumbs up, give it a like, give it a share, take a look at the other Stitch of the Week videos that we've got, and grow and expand your skill with crochet. Until next time, I'll say bye-bye for now. Bye!